Welcome, Aquarius. This will be your solar eclipse reading for April the 8th. And if you'd like to skip to 7 minutes and 30 seconds, that's when the actual reading will start. 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Hi, Aquarius. I thought we would do an eclipse reading. So this is for April the 8th. April the 8th is a new moon, which means that, so every month, let's just say this is a full moon. So after about 15 days, there's the new moon, okay? So it's kind of the opposite of a full moon. But there's also some other things going on April the 8th. There's going to be a solar eclipse on April the 8th, which means that there will be a lineup, a straight line, the Earth, the moon, and the sun. So in other words, the moon is going to be, it's like the moon is trying to block the sun from us just for a very short period of time. Now, just before I go on, as you know, the Earth is going around the sun. It takes us about a year to get around the sun once. And of course, we are spinning on our axis as well. We spin on our axis about once. We take a turn every 24 hours. Now, the moon is going around us. Believe it or not, in that 1 year, the moon goes around the Earth around about 13 times. So that's why it's passing through, each sign. Now, here's the thing. Why do we always only see one side of the moon? And so we talk about the dark side of the moon, the side of the moon we never see. It's because, so we are spinning on our axis. We take a full turn every 24 hours. But the moon, as it goes around us, the moon is also spinning on its own axis. And the moon, it takes a full trip around the Earth for the moon to take a full turn itself. So as you can see, that's why we only see one side of the moon. Because the entire trip around the Earth, that full, the amount of time that the moon takes to do that is the exact same amount of time that it takes the moon to spin on its axis once. So we only see one side of the moon from the Earth. Now here's something interesting. Other planets have moons as well. Some of them have more than one moon. Mars actually has 2 moons. And one of their moons is getting, as it goes around Mars, every year it's getting closer and closer and closer to Mars. Eventually it will hit that planet. Guess what our moon is doing? It's getting further and further away. I believe it's about 2 centimeters every year that our moon retreats. In other words, it's getting further away from us. There are some who believe that in about 5 billion years, maybe less, our moon will be out of our gravity area, so it'll just go away. We won't have a moon. It's kind of sad. Just going back to Mars moons, so the little demon moon that Mars has that whips around its, so it's Phobos is the moon of Mars that we know is going to eventually hit Mars. It's now going around at a speed of 3 times a day. Phobos orbits Mars, and it is only 6,000 kilometers right now away from the surface of Mars. Now let me tell you the speed at which it is decreasing. So every 50 years, it gets 3 feet closer to Mars. That obviously, that can change it is going to crash into Mars at some point, and it's going to have a massive impact on everything. Okay, so there's the Earth, there's the Sun, and that little thing there is the Moon. So right now we're on April 4th. So just watch what happens, how the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun will line up when we hit April the 8th. See that? So it's in a straight line. So the Moon is right in front of the Sun. And that will be April 8th. That's called a solar eclipse. I always get it mixed up. Because it seems like it's a lunar eclipse, but it's the Moon is blocking out the Sun on April the 8th. So, and remember that it's also a new moon. So, and there's another aspect of the reason why it is a super new moon is because it has something to do with the close distance and the orbit of the moon around the Earth. There are certain points at which the moon is closer to the Earth and further away. Anyway, so the cards in the Moonology deck that would apply to April the 8th are a new moon eclipse, expect powerful change. New moon in Aries, it's time to take action. And new moon, a new start is coming. So, finally, are there any impacts the solar eclipse will have on us? So this would be for a solar eclipse. There is a scientific belief that a solar eclipse can have an impact on our brains, specifically this network of parts of our brain like the hippocampus and the amygdala that they call the DMN. It's some kind of default network that has to do with being dreamy and mindfulness, etc. So anyway, it has been reported that people have experienced these feelings of awe and euphoria as a result of the solar eclipse. So you might have some huge, inspiring download. All right, so we're going to start with the question. Well, what I'd like to look at is we'd like to look at what situation in Aquarius's life will be made better or changed by this eclipse. Let's do 2 more hard and 3 soft. There's the past. Sorry, guys. 1 more hard. Sorry, guys. 3 soft. What situation in 2 more in Aquarius's life? Show me before. Show me before the eclipse. Show me before, please. Wow. Look at this. This does look very eclipsy. All right. I just have to mention before we start, you know that feeling of awe and oneness, that euphoria that people have reported. Well, there is a description somewhere about the judgment card where on that. I think it's somewhere in the book of Revelations. I'm going to see if I can find it, but it's this, this feeling of oneness with everything, embracing the sound of Gabriel's horn there, the horn of the esoteric, the man and the woman and child have come together, to form one. The unification of the conscious and the subconscious. I can't remember how that goes. I'm just going to see if I can find that quote. My right ear is ringing right now really loudly. And it was just when I was thinking about the water. There's water in both of these cards. And water is supposed to symbolize oneness because you can't separate it. They say, if the way you're supposed to think about God and divinity is this, and this is really the point Jesus was trying to make. He didn't think he was God or better than anyone else. Simply put, if God is the ocean, you're a cup of it. All right, this is the end of illusions here. This is a final ending. You could be deciding to end something for once and for all. I mean, it could relate to someone who has backstabbed you. There could be, if it does relate, for some of you, this could relate to some heavy-duty backstabbing that was really overkill here. Because whoever was, if it is a situation like that, 10 swords is overkill. They really wanted to make sure that you were dead. But it's indicative of someone who will not give up, who will not accept, maybe you ended something with this person and they can't accept an ending. Anyway, that's just for some of you. Now, with Judgment, if this is in relation to love, believe it or not, this is a card of reunification, of twin flames, of soulmates. There, you may have had a past life connection with someone, and it may be that that person was making a repetitive error in past lives, so there could be some kind of a completion here, an end of a repetitive error that they were making or you were making. You may be shedding an earthly attachment in your 10th house. So in other words, if you happen to, let's say that you thought that your status or title or popularity or job or position in society was everything, and you were always afraid of losing that. If you've lost your job or your reputation or whatever, and you've been inspired by the horn of the esoteric, you've found a way to be happy and peaceful. This could be a clearing out, a successful shedding of that earthly attachment. And if so, it's quite an accomplishment here. I have to say here, there is a really strong message here on that note. And it's reflected in both of these cards. With the Ten of Swords, the Ten of Swords is often the end of illusions. What does that mean? Well, an illusion, for example, if you think that looks are everything, obviously, I think we can pretty much all realize that looks aren't everything. How about E.T., who was the ugliest little creature that you could imagine, but oh, how everybody loved E.T. There were children sobbing and crying coming out of movie theaters because of that, and adults too. So it's not what's on the outside. Now, that's the end of illusions. So it's not just about looks. It could also be about material things, labels, thinking that you need a house, a fancy house or a fancy car, blah, 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 or a status or a husband or a wife, or, a title of being a lord or a lady or whatever, or a duke or a duchess, prince or a princess. These are all things that are really, if you are assigning your happiness and importance in life because of something man-made like that, then that's self-righteousness. You're really denying the existence of God, or you're fearful and realizing over here. Let's say that you think that money is everything. Okay, so you'd rather have $1 billion than have a close connection with God. Okay, go ahead, take the $1 billion. Now, you get a diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. You're told that you have less than 2 years to live. And you've just met your twin flame and you want to have children or whatever. What am I going to do? Will the billions of dollars that you have make you well? No. But if you have a close connection with God, one prayer can work a miracle. The point of this card, there are people who were dead being raised out of coffins. Money can't do that. With God, all things are possible. Do you remember Lazarus? Jesus of Nazareth raised Lazarus from the dead after I think it was 4 days of decay. He actually didn't want to do that when he did it, but no wonder the poor guy was executed. He scared the living hell out of everyone. But that is the point. And I just want to mention something here. For those of you who are thinking that's wacko, that's out of... Do you know that if you... Let's just get really scientific here. If you are talking about aging and why people age, if you go down to, first of all, in the 3D, we know that we age, that material things decay because of the illusion of time. Now, if you, both my ears are ringing right now. If you talk to a scientist about what happens in the human body, they'll tell you that everything, your cells are constantly going through these, the body that you had a few years ago, you have a completely different body right now. The cells have all, have duplicated. So why do we age then? Well, apparently it has something to do with I think it's the telomeres on the ends of these cells, that the new cells. Now, if you ask a scientist what happens, why don't the cells, why is it, both ears are ringing really loudly right now, so there could be something important about this. They'll tell you, well, the new cells over time, the little telomeres get shorter and shorter, and they forget how. And if you drill right down, you keep going. Why did they get shorter? Why did they get shorter? It starts out with about 7 scientific reasons, but what it all boils down to are things that happen in this 3D world. Poisons, pollution, stress, anxiety, everything in the 3D. So maybe it is possible to live forever, but every limit that we put on ourselves because we assume that we are bound by the limits of this 3-dimensional, what our 5 senses can detect. That causes aging. Now, I'm making a sweeping generalization here, but here's the thing. With spirit, all things are possible. So I think what's happening with this eclipse is, wowzers, you may have a massive a download from spirit. You could be assigned, oh great, I know some of you are going, oh, not another make-work project. But you may also realize, you may witness some kind of a miracle. Maybe you're doing a healing spell or something on the night of the eclipse, and I think you're going to see, or maybe you're just saying a prayer. I believe, Aquarius, that you're about to be blown away by your own spiritual power. I think you're going to be blown away. You're going to see one of these miracles. So, for example, what's a miracle? I've seen tons of these, but it's something like, let's say that somebody tells a relative of yours, you're gonna die in 6 months. There's no way. Your remission should not be in your vocabulary. Blah 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 blah. And so you know that on, let's say, such and such a date, there's been an MRI or and you know that there's a huge tumor there, and let's say that you start doing behind the scenes without telling anyone, getting up at 4 a.m, you start doing meditations and prayer, and next thing you know, you get news from your relative that by some unexplained reason, the tumor's gone down to 2 centimeters or less. They think that, an actual miracle that is unexplained. And it deep down in your heart and soul, you know that it was spirit. It was faith, hope, belief, and desire. That would have been someone that you have a lot of love for. and when you love somebody unconditionally, the incredible power of a prayer, it is unbelievable. And you're going to see that. You're going to see that you have that, and then you are never going to question your own worth again, or feel, you're never going to feel that you're never going to be afraid that your person might like somebody else. You know why? Because you know the power that you've got. This you should never talk about this. When you're able, I think you guys already know this. There's something about when you're able to create these miracles, never discuss it with anyone. Okay? Only with God. Thank God 1,000,000 times over. Do your ohms and your amens. But just keep it to yourself for your own satisfaction. It strengthens the power somehow. I don't know how to explain it, but it does. All right, let's keep going. In John, before poor old Jesus was executed, he was talking about all of the powers that, all of the times that he raised someone from the dead or healed someone. He was explaining to them that it wasn't him. It was because God was within him. And then he explains to his disciples that they can do exactly the same thing. He was explaining, even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it seeth him not, neither knoweth him. But ye know him, for he dwelleth with you, and shall be in you. And it goes on and on. He explains to them that because of that, they are able to do exactly what he did. And he talks about the I am the true vine, the Father is the husbandman. Every branch, he goes on about how these people who don't believe in God are like the fruit on the vine, but they forget that they need the vine in order to bear more fruit. He also was explaining, it's funny, sometimes I say to people that I'm reading for when they've been through stuff like gang stalking, and they say, why me? And I remind them, well, we executed Jesus and he did nothing wrong. But listen to this. He was warning his disciples. He said, these things I command you, that ye love one another. If the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. So, there are so many references to the power of God. And, when one is really infused and dwelling in spirit, these things, these same things that Jesus did, they are able to do, but not without spirit and without belief and truth. Faith, really, in their heart. And it's not something that's separate from the human being. It is a knowing. It is very focused on this illusion of the material. The thought, for example, put very simply, it astounds me that people can actually, I really can't sit in a room any longer with someone who says that they don't believe in God or spirit. And I say to them, okay, you're cooking dinner last night. You cut your hand, while you were slicing garlic. You go to sleep, you get up the next day, your hand is healed. Did you do that? Did you tell those cells how to divide? Did you organize that incredibly complicated, intelligent communication? You did all that, did you? Because if, you ask these people who do not believe in that intelligent matrix? Or is that just, that's a coincidence, is it? That's just an accident. What's going on inside your body? Is that an accident? Is the communication, the idea that it, for example, when a cell is being attacked by a virus, when it decides, even though it knows it's dying and it will die, when it decides that it will send out warnings, as the virus is replicating it, it will sneak a little warning into the virus so that this next cell that virus tries to attack will have a message from that cell that's now dead, not to let that in. Is that not, that's an act of unconditional love. Does that help that cell that died in any way? No. It's a collective, it's a collective, it's called unconditional love, a we, not an I. It's the opposite of separateness and selfishness. Anyway, I just don't understand. You guys get this, obviously, but this, and if you don't, maybe this is this is something either that you're going through or that you're teaching someone. It's pretty huge. Okay, let's keep going. Show me more, please. The April 8th. Oh, it was hard. It was hard getting that. Wow. Oh, I gotta get a clarification for this. Empress and the Ten of Swords. Yeah, actually, okay. There's something else trying to poke out underneath this. Actually, just let me take a stab at this. This is indeed somehow related to at the end of the illusion of materialism. As you know, the Empress is mentioned in the book of Revelations. She is the Empress of the inferior Garden of Eden. In other words, of the world. In Revelation chapter 12, it starts out, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Now, and she belonged with child, cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. Now, the problem is, if you go on to read the rest of that chapter 12, it's all about her giving birth to a man child. In other words, it was related to the devil because it was only from the earth. Now, so a moment ago we saw the Judgment card. On the top level of the Tree of Life, we have you, the Fool, who brings the energy of spirit from Keter into the first level of the Tree of Life. The only archetypes that are up there's you, the Magician, and the High Priestess. Every other character, whether it's in the rest of the major arcana or the minor arcana or some combination of those three, of the Fool, the Magician, and the High Priestess. The High Priestess is in the superior Garden of Eden. The water that comes from the High Priestess, and get this, guess who delivers the water from the High Priestess all over the rest, all over, and right to the Empress, and all over you do, the star. The star goes up. So, I mean, where does she get her water? Just look at that little blue thing on the side. How is she able to nourish? She's not able to do it without the high priestess. Without, she has no connection to God whatsoever unless she connects to the high priestess. So you get the idea. This person here, you could be realizing that through prayer and meditation and your faith, your business begins to boom. Maybe that's you looking at your money. Maybe you faced a difficult ending. Maybe, I think the idea here is you are going through something pretty massive and wonderful, and you're realizing at how much you can generate and multiply, and what you can manifest in this physical world through this end of illusion, and your connection is just simply your connection to spirit. You could be making a decision here, some kind of a decision. You may not be happy with material things anymore. You may have to, take a drop in order to move forward. You may be thinking about, in order to end something, you may actually have to pay up. Maybe, if you're trying to get out of a marriage or something, or a business, maybe there is a huge financial loss that you have to take, and you're wondering, will I ever build it up again? Yes, you will. Yes, you will. With your connection to spirit, you will. Show me a little bit more. This could be about love as well. Manifesting really anything that it is that you want. There's 3. Wow, look at the 6 of Cups. Wow. Yeah. Wow. There may have been something that happened to you that was very unjust. In the past, things may have, it been really wonderful. You may have been very kind to other people. Maybe things were going really well. Something very unjust may have happened that caused complete and total utter loss or desecration. Over here, it looks like there is no hope whatsoever. This is kind of like being given the diagnosis, remission should not be in your vocabulary. You are going to die. There is no hope. Or somebody could be telling you you'll never be able to build up your business again. Show me more, please. Because I feel like this has something to do with some kind of spiritual ascension. Yeah, I absolutely believe that it does. Yeah, I absolutely do. You could be literally, with the 8 of Wands, there is victory in your future. I feel like, remember that these wands were set off at some point, and they have a target. There is a goal in mind, and they will hit the target. This could be a business that booms, or a marriage, or a commitment that comes together. There is success, fulfillment, passion, happiness, arrows of love here. There's some kind of victory. This is also about victory. There is some kind of victory. In spite of loss, in spite of illness, in spite of, whatever that 5 of Pentacles was. There's a victory coming in, and it may be related simply to timing. That Justice card, remember, is something adjusting. It's spiritual justice. It's a reward coming in for credit, the karmic credit that you've built up. By possibly that 6 of Cups may have been very, very kind things, small kind things, love, unconditional love that you showed in the past. Your legacy is coming in no matter what. So I feel like this is post-eclipse. What else is Aquarius allowed to know regarding the impact of this eclipse, or anything else that Aquarius needs to know? This is interesting. Oh, wow. I'm going to clarify that. Seven of Swords. Notice how whoever that is, they're looking back. This could be whoever caused you loss. It's like they're looking back to make sure something is finally, has finally ended. Or maybe whatever, opportunity. Clarify who is in the Seven of Swords there. What is going on? Oh, the sun and the moon. Guys, this is an eclipse. The sun, the moon, and the earth. Wow, wow, wow. I said, who was in the Seven of Swords? This obviously has something to do with the eclipse. The person who could not see, or who would not reveal, the person who this is incredible. Person who wouldn't change. I gotta see. There's something underneath the Seven of Swords there. Yeah, I feel like that's you. That, by the way, that could be a legacy that you've built up. They're looking back to make sure they've ended something. Perhaps they want to make sure they've ended your passion. What are we allowed to know about that person in the Seven of Swords? What are they looking? What is it that Aquarius is? What is it Aquarius needs to know? What should we know about that person in the Seven of Swords? The Ten of Cups. This could be somebody that you loved. How does the person in the Seven of Swords feel about Aquarius? How does the person in the Seven of Swords feel about Aquarius? Oh boy, it's a lot. Well, let's look at all of them. Ten of Wands, they caused you difficulty. Six of Cups, they love you. Your twin flame. Two of Swords and the Ace of Cups, they blocked unconditional love. It could be because they were, so this is somebody who gave you a very they could have been overwhelmed with feelings, and they gave you a very difficult time in the past. They were blocking unconditional love. They couldn't see, or they were denying love. Perhaps you are going to end up with this person. Is this person going to go through a change? Is this person going to go through any sort of a change? What are we allowed to know happens to this Knight of Swords and Five of Cups? Going to feel very guilty and sad. What is the Page of Wands, please? What is the Page of Wands? What is the Page of Wands? Two eights. Somebody is working on restricting you, putting a lot of work into, someone was putting a lot of work into restricting your options. This person was resisting. Let's just keep going. I asked what we need to know about the person in the Seven of Swords, and we got the Sun and the Moon. Perhaps the missing link there is the Earth. Maybe this is somebody who is into earthly pursuits or the material. Let's just keep going. What else are we allowed to know about what's happening as a result of this eclipse? So there's some kind of a truth that is being realized. What else is Aquarius allowed to know? It's right there. All right, so here's this. And what is the Three of Cups, please? What is the Three of Cups, please? This could be it's the pursuits that this person is ending. So the Three of Cups, I mean, that could be this person not realizing that you're the special cup. Three of Cups could be this person cheating, or it could be a group of people that are backstabbing. Somehow this person, and obviously they have sabotaged themselves. How does the eclipse impact the Emperor? How does the eclipse impact the Emperor? Wow. Okay. Perhaps, so this could mean that you end things with this person. It could be an ending of the illusions of the material, and they. Let's just clarify. How does the eclipse impact the Emperor? No, it's in a really good way. It's something absolutely amazing. I wonder why. So you're going through. Is there anything that Aquarius says or communicates to the Emperor? Or anything that Aquarius does? Or is this just... is there anything that Aquarius does or says? Or is there something... Could be some... Does the eclipse have an impact on this person's brain? Whoa, all the cards started to fall. It may well. Remember how we were talking about the TOM and the default network? I can't remember what the initial thing is. There's the Seven of Pentacles. Somebody's trying to make a decision. How does the eclipse affect the Emperor? There's somebody who is stuck in the Eight of Swords because of outdated thinking. How does the eclipse... And notice it does. How on earth is this? So outdated thinking became somebody looking within at their own wisdom. This could be that creative thinking. That could be the stick in the mud, outdated thinking. Something spiritual is happening. I mean, the Hierophant is completely without spirit. It's the external doctrine of religion. The Hermit is it can actually be God. It is being guided 100% by the divine, by nothing material. Usually the Hermit has their eyes closed. They don't even need to see. They don't use their sight. They are guided by the Star of David in the lantern there. I mean, this looks amazing. All right. Is there anything else? One last flip. Is there anything else that Aquarius needs to know? There is some kind of an opportunity. There's some kind of an opportunity coming up in relation to this ending of illusions. There is a massive tower and an epiphany. So I think what you need to realize is that something may need to be totally destroyed. There is a huge epiphany coming in relation to this tower. I believe that this is extremely important here. All right? So, with the tower, we've got a lightning bolt going from the left to the right. It is a sudden epiphany. It is a massive, sudden, it's a realization of a truth. It is a giant awakening. I'm just going to read a quote from one of my friends. You could experience a spiritually moving event soon. Like lightning, it could come out of the blue. You might feel like you had false beliefs that are now dissolving. Expected, unexpected changes. You might actually hear words from the divine. I'm just going to read you another one of her quotes. As a person who gets the Tower card could be motivated by a cosmic force. This person is good with words. Sometimes these words come from the divine. You are here on earth for a particular mission, but that mission is for you to find out on your own at the right time. It will hit you out of nowhere and you'll have a major aha moment. And I think that's what is about to happen. There's something about, by the way, there are 20, even though the Tower is number 16, there are 21 yods of fire, so the number 21 could be relevant to you. I think I'm going to end off with chapter 21, since there are 21 yods. In the book of Revelations, it's called The New Heaven and the New Earth. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of the heavens saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them, and he their God, and God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain. For the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto you, that is, a thirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son or daughter. I think it's just some incredible epiphany that you're having. I'm just going to get one last little message. What are you doing on the eclipse, I wonder? Wow, you're not going to believe this. A profound transformation is taking place in your life. Be yourself. You have much to offer the world by just being you. Your love has the power to transform all things, including your relationship and love life. So, my dear Aquarius, this could very well be about your love life. Wow, let me know if it resonated. Amazing. Thanks for watching.